everybody, this is Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros, your soon to be number one crypto show on all the YouTube waves. I'm your host, Clutch Crypto. B. Wellington is on the charts already as normal. We've had some exciting activity. We got a CME gap below us this week. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, we've been talking about this for a while. We'll hop into the charts, but we've got this pattern that's forming. What I'll tell you is, I know we look at this every week, and I will tell you that we'll look at the BTC chart as well. So this is the BTC USD because this tells a little bit more than the ETH chart. But if you look at this chart, you can see that we're in a little bit of trouble. We have been in a while. That hadn't been an issue. But on this, ETH and Bitcoin follow each other pretty well. We do know this as, one of the patterns that we follow. And a couple of things either happen, because we're coming up to this cross of the 200 and the 800, and this is on the daily.
This is huge.
This is huge. You normally start to see, because people like to go short when they see this pattern starting to develop. So you normally see Bitcoin or Ethereum kind of buck the trend and start to head back up in order to, pop those longs or liquidate those longs before it continues to the downside to ultimately complete the pattern. Another tail that you have on this chart here is this wick that's here. This wick really doesn't exist too much on the E chart, but this wick here is an imbalance in the chart that we'll probably get back to at a point in time. This wick is also below what you would call major support for this particular area. Don't pay attention to these lines here. I don't want to scare anybody. But look, if you look at the volume, your low volume nodes, which we tend to run through those pretty quickly. And then we have our first kind of higher at 10,000. We moved up so quickly through this that these are areas that haven't been explored yet, pricing wise, that could be explored in the near future. And again, this is on the daily.
And you think, and you think when this happens, it's probably going to be a pretty quick move?
I think that, if it happens, it is going to be a quick move. So just be careful. I'm not saying 100% that it will happen because there's a lot of money that's out there. But a lot of liquidity has left the market, has left the crypto market. I don't envision, with everything going on in the macro market, that a lot of money is going to be allocated to crypto anytime soon. And so with that, I think you've got, a lot of internal players that have lost money on, things like the Luna, the Terra, and just kind of the overall, that are looking to provide, looking to move out of the space. And so with that, if they can trap some liquidity, right, and take that liquidity, whichever way it goes, then I think that helps to return some of the funds that they've lost in some of these bigger projects. So if we look on the hourly, the next level that I'm really looking for, if we come up into these areas, is just on the USDT chart, is moving up into this kind of the 2,000 range. That's where our last peak was. We're kind of we are recovering this vector candle that's here. And so we've got a little bit of room left to go. But the fact that we stalled in this 1910 area, I woke up this morning to take a piss at about 3 a.m. And that just so happened to be the UK Open. And we were here at the same price we were at. And so we haven't done anything for this amount of hours. And that's always concerning. Either it's accumulating at this spot, but normally it likes to get a little closer when it really, goes. It's a big squeeze. It uses that liquidity, and it really hasn't gone, anywhere. We haven't even recovered this entire candle here. So if anything, I expect us to, maybe move up another 100 points, get into this 2000 area, or come back, retrace into this 200, because with this cross again, setting traders up, folks that are trading off the hourly and looking at this are about to go long, thinking this is going to come back through. Especially, I don't know, we may have some short liquidations up here. I'll let you take care of that, Clutch. But you know, I just don't see any movement there. So maybe we get that movement to the upside. If you look at it, we haven't had any vector candles. I mean, even though we've had a nice amount of volume, price really hasn't gone anywhere. During this particular time, it's been kind of steady. So that means either a lot of folks are selling into this, fading this amount, which then you could use that liquidity to move up. But I'm not seeing it just yet. But again, this is Monday. I believe, we can look at the countdown tracker. I believe there's some bank holidays today as well in some other countries, not necessarily in the U.S. So if we go into a smaller time frame, the 14-minute, again, as you can see, we've just kind of been up here hanging out for a while. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I think we're still headed to the downside. But this is just a way to clear some of the liquidity from some of these shorts that I've been building. This is a liquidity chart that we've been looking at. But we'll go to the open interest. Open interest is at 5.8 billion.
We're up.
So they are setting up. They're setting up the perpetual futures market. We had gotten down to like 4.8 billion, I think, was the low.
Yeah.
OI. So we've added an entire $1 billion worth of OI. Bless you.
Thank you.
We so that's been interesting. So on the funding rate side, we do have kind of a mixed bag. A lot of these have turned positive. When I looked at these earlier this morning, let me just refresh. When I looked at these earlier this morning, a lot of these were more negative, and so this would just indicate that we're starting to get a turn. People are either closing out those shorts that they had, or going into a positive position, and so our long position. And so these are starting to turn. If we just look at it from that end, if we then look at the market itself, we've got the big headliner that Amazon did a 20-to-1 stock split, which is good for Amazon stock because you can get it cheaper and it'll continue to grow. In my opinion, Amazon's a very strong company. We've got the Dow making a move early to the upside, which, every time we move up early, man, it's by the afternoon, you kind of see a change in sentiment there. From a news standpoint,
I wonder why. We're caught in a trap.
Because the market's manipulated. And then no news scheduled for today. Let me refresh this just to make sure. But we've got no news scheduled for today. But yeah, we'll probably see some volatility. Some of that market volatility may be the fact that Amazon did, announce a 20-to-1 stock split, which it's not new news, but I think I didn't know if folks were going to if it was going to be a 20-to-1. I know that stock splits can be different intervals. They can be a 2-to-1. They can be and they also announced a buyback, as well. So they will be buying back some of that for to put into their own treasury or whatever you want to call it. So some of that will come off of the market, but it won't have too much of an impact. So interesting strategy there. But if we just look towards the end of the week, just foreign trade balance, consumer credit's going to be a big number on Tuesday. I'd be interested to see that, just because we have had some news out that consumer habits haven't changed credit-wise, which is concerning given the fact that, kind of we're going into this economic slowdown. You want to see consumer credit start to slow down as well. But, early numbers say that it hasn't. Wholesale inventories revision, and then we've got more job claims. The CPI, so Friday's going to be huge as well, because this is what, really the Fed's out to kill, not kill, but to slow down is this core CPI and CPI year to year. So this data here will be a very good indicator of what the Fed's going to do in the next few meetings, whether they're going to take a pause or whether they're going to continue to be aggressive relative to these rate hikes. So we'll see what happens. So that's all I got on my end. What do you got on your end, Clutch? Let's look at some.
So they're going to want to see the CPI eventually get down into the 2 to 3% range, yeah.
Correct. So there's so projected CPI is 2% if you just look at it from an overall goal standpoint.
All right. So what we have here, can you see it?
I can see it.
All right, cool, man. So this is High Block Capital. So you can see from the close that happened on Friday, we were around negative 3.8 billion on the liquidation, cumulative liquidation delta here. Well, over the weekend and that nice little pump that took off and started happening right around Monday open for Australia. Now we're up to positive 770 million on the upside, which this whole move has really happened in roughly about 12 hours. So that just goes to show you guys how quickly we can really get into the positive side of things. Now it's a matter of, do we want to go up here and run all the way up into these areas, 2035 area where we do have some some big short liquidations above us, and this was a key area that you spoke about as well, just a few moments ago when we were looking at the chart. So to be really honest with you guys, we are kind of trading. I'll show you here on Bookmap. We're in a pretty heavy area right now, as it is already for a lot of people trading on the volume profile that we're going to show you here in a minute. So to be honest with you, it's really anyone's game. I am probably anticipating that they're going to go ahead and try to get some more people on board before they start bringing these prices back down. So we are seeing kind of a stop hunt, what it looks like to be, that's forming on Bookmap, and we're going to be able to give you guys a much better view on the trading range based on the information we have on Bookmap this morning versus High Block, unfortunately. I know we like to kind of set up a decent range on High Block, but we're really in the middle of getting in a trade. So if you're not in a position, I would definitely recommend just being patient here and kind of letting a few things slide out here. Just waiting on this update. Here we go. So you can see here, this is an area that we've been trading a lot in recently. And we're working our way past this high volume area right here. We're kind of still sitting on it. As you can see, chart volume profile is what we're looking at here. Session volume profile is the session that is on our chart right now. And as you can see, we're kind of in a really heavy area right here. There's a ton of orders, low volume nodes, everything right here, 1920. And then down here in the 1890s area, kind of same thing. So depending on what happens when we get into these ranges here shortly, because we will get into these ranges here pretty quickly, that's where I would look at how price is reacting in those areas to see if we are going to get a breakout and head to those 2000, 2030 area that we spoke about to the upside, or if we're going to continue to break down. We do have a CME gap, guys, that is below us currently, and that guy is right down here. This was Friday's close, 1762. So do pay attention. The likeliness of us getting back down here at some point this week is very high. So if you are looking for a short, do make sure we're not going to have a breakout continuation to the upside, which again, anything above 1920, and we break out and start heading up, I think we're going to see movement to the upside. So 1920 is key area of resistance that we need to break through for higher prices. 1980, 1990, these areas right here, see what happens. We get in this range. I'm not going to be surprised if we get down here to 1817 and have some orders show up at 1860. just because we need to cycle through. We need to cycle through this to get to the bottom to get a bounce. So there may be a lot of ranging happening today as well. That's all I got.
Well, that's all I've got as well. I mean, we've it's Monday. This is kind of known as a day where they try to misdirect traders. So don't get trapped today, but we'll see what happens. We're kind of in limbo. Made this move up, but definitely don't think we're going to the moon just yet. But there may be some more liquidity up to the upside to trade. So any trades today would be taken with some tight stops. With really tomorrow or even after this afternoon to figure out not exactly, but figure out kind of what the sentiment of the market is and where we believe this week's going to end up.
10-4, big buddy. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until next time, AN.